No. Yeah, all right.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm recording. Amelia's ready. I mean, my cat's ready.
Well, we should have more Zoom bombing. There's people here. All right.
Do that.
Izzy, you got an interesting hairdo there. It's getting close to one of the hedges in Beverly Hills. Can't. Yeah, yeah. Volume. All right, you want to start now or what?
Yeah, I'm ready. And the recording's on.
No, you're right. All right. Well, good morning or good evening or good afternoon, everybody. If there's people here that are new, um, if everything seems to go over your head, that's the purpose. That's the whole point. Yeah, you understanding it can be part of the impediment. Yeah, it can part of the obscuring. So, well, if you've never heard of non-duality, thank God, really, you're so much better off. You might as well just turn off this Zoom and anything that either says it's leading to awakening or integrating awakening, just bypass that. So, non duality is a simple two words that has a huge amount of integrity in the direction it proposes, which is negation. Yeah? So, it's non means not, duality means two. Now, you could say that before duality, in a way, there's dualism. So we are in a sense of subject objectness all day. If you would just investigate it with just a modicum of understanding about duality, let's just get to the basic of subject object, or noun, verb, noun, I or that. So this duality or dualism is basically what gets negated by entertaining the message of non-duality. Where does it get negated from? It doesn't get negated from the duality. Yeah? It's not that the duality gets convinced that there's no duality. It's seeing it from non-duality. Yeah? And basically, part of the obscuring of duality is the sense that the duality implies or is based on there's a seer in the duality. We're not trying to convince that there is non-duality. We bypass that, yes? So the message isn't to us, it's more through us. So we're attempting to speak to what we are, not to who we are. Yeah? So the message is basically, a lot of people will say it seems like it's going over their head. That's incredible. That's very, very good. Yeah, because in a way, the sense of Paul catches the message that there's a lion. Yeah. Now Paul thinks it's the lion, but there's a lion that can be quite much of a lion without Paul. So the message is attempting to get to the lion, let's say, and the message is about Paul, and Paul is about duality. So we're speaking to what is non-dual, about duality. We're not speaking to duality about what's non-dual. Please, yeah? And we're not speaking to duality about duality. That doesn't go anywhere, yeah? We're speaking to what you are, which is always available at all times, right where you seem to be, because it never left anywhere. It never turned, it never took off, it never left to have to come back. It never disconnected, so it has to be connected. It just is, yeah? That's the whole premise, is you are what you're looking for. The whole premise is St. Francis's statement, what's looking is what you're looking for. The whole premise is Huang Po's dissection of duality, which is whatever can be perceived can't be perceiving. Yes? Now, if you listen to one's head, the whole narration, the whole assumption that the narration flows over is that which can be perceived is what's perceiving. We believe the body is us, the body is seeing, the body's hearing, the body's feeling, the body's tasting, the body's touching. Now, some of the qualities of the body, right, allow a conscious contact through it, but the eye isn't seeing, the ear isn't hearing, the hand isn't feeling, there's seeing, there's hearing, and the mental state arises in time and claims that the seeing implies a seer. And not only the seer, the seen, yeah? That's duality. Duality is an activity that can be seen through from non-duality, yeah? Duality is an activity that can be seen through from non-duality. And I'm saying we are non-duality, yeah? We're not in the act of becoming non-dual. We are non-dual. In other words, there isn't two parts of us. There isn't subject-object. There isn't Paul on a good day, Paul on a bad day. There isn't Paul connected, disconnected. There isn't, yeah? There's just activity, constant activity going on. And yet all of that activity is appearing in a context. And I would say we are of that context. We are not of the content. So basically, the idea of non-duality obviously presents its point through warning. It's attempting to not talk about the lion to the lion, but to talk about the lion, about the sheep that the lion is identified as, yes? It's not lion to lion. It is truly lion to lion, but the topic is not lion, the topic is sheep. Because maybe if you're not a sheep, what are you going to fall back into? That you're a lion. When is it going to happen? Now. When did it not happen? Never, yeah? You have always been what you are, and that's the feeling that comes over you. When you see what you're not, and if it's a big free sample, when you see what you're not, part of the seeing it is crystallizing. It's always been this way. It always has been this way. Everything else was just machinations and magic tricks and huffing and puffing. Yeah, of course they can seem to produce effects because what's dreaming this whole event is the dreaming. Yeah. So the message isn't about non-duality. The message is about duality. The message is, let's bring it to dualism. Dualism, subject-object. Are you or are you not being thought about sometimes during the day by supposedly your own head? Are you or are you not thinking about others throughout the day? So sometimes you're thinking about others. You're the subject and the other is the object. Sometimes there's the subjectness and then you're the object, yeah? This is what non-duality is negating, not denying. Denying doesn't work. Negating. It's not like you don't see it to make it untrue. You see it and it reveals itself to be untrue. There's a seeing of it and there's a revelation it's untrue. what you're not doesn't try to make it untrue. That makes it more true. Yeah? So I think the message is very, very simple until it's heard. Yeah? And then the hearing of it, and then the claiming of the hearing of it is what causes the dilemma or the confusion. Yeah? So now we're trying to get out of what we're not in, or we're trying to get into what we're not out of. It's just that extreme. So I hope if you keep coming back here, you'll get nothing and more nothing and more nothing and more refined nothing. And you'll see you would think that you need to be keenly interested in something and very attentive to something. But in a sense, the real relief comes from losing interest. Yeah? There's a losing of interest in the need to be liberated. That's the liberation. The liberation is from any need to be liberated. Yeah? The awakening is a fact. And then you realize the unawakeness was a seeming, it was appearing to that which is awake to be true, and it can very easily appear to that which is awake not to be true. And that's what happens when the message hits. It appears to the awake, not to the one who wants to be awake, who truly believes that they're not awake, but to the awake. Yeah, it appears to the awake that it's untrue. And it doesn't matter how long it had appeared to the awake to be true. It's sort of like in a dream at night. If you're dreaming at night, let's say you're dreaming a 300-year epic, yeah? You're the Genghis Khan, you're this, you're that, you're going through multi-dimensional places. It seems like 300 years. And then the next night you dream of just taking a sip of a coffee milkshake, or coffee shake, yeah? Only 5 seconds. How long does it take to wake up from both dreams? How long does it take up to wake up from the 300-year epic and the 5-minute little blurb? Yeah? Because time doesn't fucking matter in awakeness. Yeah? It's not like, oh, I've been up the ass of self for 70 years, so it's at least going to take 40 years to come out. No. Because you were never in, you see? That's why the solution doesn't take any time, because it's a negation of the reality of the problem. The solution is negating the reality of the problem, yeah? So suddenly, that which you wanted to get out of, you recognize you were never in, yeah? That whole drive to let go, you realize you were never the one who thought it was holding on, yes? So the immediacy of the solution, as soon as the solution is applied, there's no need for a solution. None. Yeah? Do I need an Uber to get out of an imaginary place? Do I have to wait for 5 minutes and then they pick me up? No. To get out of an imaginary place, the appropriate response to that is nothing. You do nothing because you're not in what you used to think you wanted to get out of. That's the beauty of negation. The negation isn't, non-duality is not another high-tech fucking modality that's going to get out of is going to help you to get out faster of what you're in. It's a negation that you're in. That there is a someone who's in the trouble that they're in, yeah? There's trouble, let's say, there's problems, but there's no my problem. There's no owner of the problem. That's where the negation lies. The negation doesn't lie in every bad day is negated and turned into a great day. No. The negation is that which is believing it's having a day, yeah? And what happens as a result? That which believes and thinks continues to go on, that it's having a day, travels lighter through whatever day it's like. Yeah? And then it's so obvious to the system that it didn't produce this ability. There's some gratitude, and it honors. It honors that the idea that something is doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. Hallelujah. Yeah? Hallelujah. And then you recognize you had nothing to do with it. I've had tons of examples. I got struck sober. Yeah, I was just plotting another way of how to make it with no money to the next drink and then hope talk someone into buying some drugs. And then something just intervened, put an end to it, and I've been clean and sober for 32 years. It wasn't like a gradual from black to white. It was bammo, yeah? Now, a lot of shit had to happen to recover from all that stuff for this, but the whole seed of sobriety was given it to me all at once. And it also showed me a way of life that germinated the seed, and that seed has grown for 32 years. And it's been clear from day one, I've had nothing to do with it. Nothing. And that's the greatest position for this thing to take. Yeah? This thing is not a cause, it's not the source, it's a vehicle of expression and observation. I've now observed that something had taken me over when I was younger that was quite fucking hostile and ripped me a lot of new assholes for years and just put me through fucking hell. And then suddenly that tyrannical reign got stopped and something else started to express through me, which has been much nicer. That the water that's moving through the hose now, not intentionally, is very, very helpful for the hose. It makes the hose a lot better just by the water coming through. The other shit was like acid. It just fucking keep corroding everything. Yeah. So this is a simple message. Come to the talks or don't. Yeah. You've been delivered the spiritual subpoena. Like Ramana Maharshi, a great master, said, you don't even know it, but your head is in the tiger's mouth already. Like we were joking, some of us are in the tiger's colon, you know? Some of us are right near the anus, ready to pop out. It's done. You've heard the message. Yeah? And it's not how many meetings you attend, it's attending this one. Yeah? This is it. The attending of this meeting is the key. Yeah? All right, well, that's that, eh?
Okay, and I think you sounded pretty good to me. Jack was suggesting you switch to phone. Kaiser, did you notice any problem?
It sounded great.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's your connection, Jack. Okay, anybody want to raise their hands?
See, that's what happens in a way of life of recovery. Everyone thinks it's someone else, and then they finally realize it was them all along. It's your phone that sucks. What? Yeah. By that time, you have such an investment that it was everyone else's fault. You'll fucking deny and fight to the death to, no, it isn't my phone. You know what I mean? Surrender.
Or you don't think it's your fault and you don't understand what the problem is then.
What?
Or you don't think it's your fault, you don't think you're blaming other people, so you're blaming yourself and you're just lost.
You're neither. You're neither one who blames the other nor the one who blames themselves.
No, yeah. That's where the help comes in. Beatrice has got her hand up. Oh, I have to ask her to unmute. Ask to unmute. Okay.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Sorry, I'm out of breath. I'm out walking. I just wanted to thank Paul for saying what he said about having nothing, because I got nothing today. So the message was clear. Thank you. And thanks everybody for being here.
Thanks, Beatrice. Very good. Yeah. I'm like living a California postcard right now. I'm looking out this window. I can check the waves out. Ah! I'm in an undisclosed location in Southern California. Do not try to find me.
Whoops. And Walter, I'm asking to unmute now.
Oh, Walter. Hey, Z.
Hey, Z. Hey, Paul. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, message is totally clear. I've heard it many times before in different ways from different masters. Actually, when I first came into the AA rooms, I was amazed about the big book, you know, from, hey, this is not new for me. And step one, yeah, of course you're powerless anyway. And of course life is unmanageable. So I had many times the taste of what you really are. I mean, one particular thing I remember way back, I'm reading Balsakar in the morning, doing my meditation, and suddenly it hits me. This is it, you know? Okay, I got it. And in the evening, I'm totally fucking drunk, you know?
Yeah.
And there we go. Again, I hit I hit the center, or difficult to say this in words, you know, no doubt about it. And then this mind starts seeking and searching again. I hit the bottle again, and I get totally fucking wasted. And then the whole difficulty to get out of it, finding difficult ways in the literature, in the psychology, in the philosophy. And then at a certain moment, I hear the message, or there is the serenity for what is the difficulty? And this is happening decades already, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
and actually running totally out of option.
Well, you probably ran out of options years ago.
Sure.
You've just been, this is an important point in a way, because a lot of people, when they think or they get the message, the mental state obviously rises quickly and claims it. And then the mental state claims that the message is like a get out of jail free card for the body. Yeah. Which it isn't. See, let's say I'm believing I'm not awake, and then suddenly I get struck awake, yeah? And I'm a diabetic. Do I stop taking insulin when I get struck awake? No, right? Because I'm very clear that the body needs insulin, yeah? I'm not mixing the two up. I'm not mixing that which I am of spirit with the body. See, this is what happens. The mental state is like it's an imaginary hybrid of body spirit, yeah? And it thinks that, wow, if I get this advantage in spirit, it's definitely going to be a get out of jail free card for the body, so I don't have to go do AA or anything like that, and then you become a drunk non-dualist, yeah?
I'm not a body, clock. It doesn't matter.
Yes, the thing is, exactly. So the body has its own determination. The body is an appearance in time that has its own little creaking way of going. Yeah, this mistake is constantly, I've heard it tons of times.
Really,
Sitting in the position I've been sitting in, the seat assignment, tons of times, people get a sample, the mental state claims it, and then shoots it up with a lot of magical thinking. Yeah? And then it brings you to a real bummer, because then you're fucked and you can't believe it. Why? Because there was a misreading of what was happening. Yeah? Completely. Yeah? Completely. This isn't about transcending or anything. It's about seeing what you're not. It doesn't, seeing what you're not, you know, all assholism just doesn't drop off in a second. It has its momentum in time. Yeah? It's like a Toyota is going to be a Toyota. You can put Rolls-Royce bumpers on it, a Rolls-Royce emblem, but it's a Toyota. Yeah. So
Yeah.
just be clear what is and what ain't. Yeah. And then what ain't has its own laws. It's like I used to love the statement. They asked Jesus about something about taxes, and he said, "Render unto Caesar's what's Caesar's." Yeah. In a way, that's how I feel about the body. Yeah. You render unto the body what's needed for the body. Yeah. And then what you're of is a completely different realm, so to speak. Yeah. This is what leads to spiritual disappointment that excites doing more, reading more, doing more, hearing more. It just forms an addiction. Yeah. So now basically the brain body is so addicted, the last thing you want to suggest is that person reading a book, really, or actually going to talks. You just say, fucking go to a soup kitchen and do some service. You'll feel a lot better than if you read another book by whoever, you know? Yeah? Or if you went to another satsang. Because the message has been compromised, yeah? The brain body has made it into something. This is the dilemma.
I do see that.
Non-duality heard through duality becomes really weird, yeah? To the point where people are trying to be a non-self as a self. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The self thing comes up with some image they think you would have if you weren't a self, and then there's like a mimicking of that, and it's sort of like it's weird. You ever hear the statement "goddesses"? Yeah,
What?
it used to be in the New Age there would be female goddesses. It's not about
yeah.
I'm using it as a thing where one of my girlfriends was, and she'd have a shawl with like an old perm, nice flowing things, very bright and stuff like that. And she'd be very unique, but I'd be in a town called Byron Bay, Australia, where you'd go to an event, there'd be 30 goddesses. They'd all have the same fucking look. Yeah? This is sort of what happens when the mental state tries to mimic something it's heard or claimed. Yeah? And it's happening with non-duality.
I see what you're pointing out, but I'm not trying to mimic this.
I know. I know you're not.
I must be honest. I became aware of you because of a Dutch dude, you know, Jan van Delden, a direct line with Nisargadatta, etc. He compares me with a real Odysseus, you know. Odysseus got the point, and then he still got to get home and deal with all these lovers, no? And he says about me, you know, you touch the depth, but you don't go deeper, you know. Somehow, all the time, there is something you trap in, you know. And, well, that confused me also a bit.
Yeah, don't buy that one. Don't buy the deeper. I don't buy that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's who that you're not is going to try to dive deeper and have a huge narration about it. Yeah, it's not you. The dilemma is you want what you're not to be an incredible bomb to what you are to be a bomb, BALM, to what you're not. What you're not needs to get the bombs of the world. Yeah? Yes. Yeah?
Yeah. I tried to make some light here.
Do things in this world that get you out of your head. Yeah? Like, don't be staying home and going over shit all day.
No. I do a lot of construction, you know. I'm in the construction, quite creative, quite busy with the body, etc., etc. Actually, I do a lot of painting. Are you still in the painting business?
Well, there you go. No, me, no.
No, I do a lot.
If I would be painting, I'd be in a specialty niche. I could only paint 4 feet or below, like baseboards and lower.
Yeah.
I can't stand on my legs long. Yeah.
At the age, I know the problem.
Yeah.
No, but no, I'm not sitting all the time at home. Don't. It's not true.
I'm
No.
not. I don't know what you're doing. I'm just suggesting. Just don't.
Yeah.
The whole idea is it's an imagined conflict. Yes.
There you go. You said it. Imagining, fantasizing all the problems. There you go
Oh,
to a shrink. You
obviously.
imagine all kinds of things, which are not true.
Obviously. Here's what we are, and then there's a movement in it called what we're not. Yeah. It has its demands. It does. Like for me, if you looked at it as a linear event, I got sober first before I ever entertained this idea. Yeah.
With
I
me,
can
it was a
imagine
different
if
way.
I was reading non-duality shooting cocaine, it would have been really fucking incredible. Be interesting.
Well, I came across quite a few people who were doing that. Oh yeah, this is Amsterdam. Huh? Krishnamurti was on the table, and the lines of coke were on the table. That's Amsterdam.
Oh, thank God I bypassed that one.
No. I was busy with the whole matter as a kid from a teenager already when I was not interested in alcohol. So it always went on the same road, you know?
Yeah. Well, listen, man, just keep coming here if you like. Hopefully you feel a little bit of camaraderie in these squares. And
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. I like to hear, you know, I hear myself, sometimes I hear myself talking, you know, how you get into the passion. I love it.
yeah,
But,
great.
you make me sometimes clear things in 10 minutes time, and I listened before to you and I'm from, what is he babbling, what is he rattling? But now sometimes in 10 minutes, hey, yeah, right. So
That's right. I'm like a cheap wine that you have to age a lot. Very cheap. It's almost costs nothing, but it needs to, you got to air it out. And
yeah,
that dog shit awareness has a certain perfume.
yeah. It's beautiful. No Satchitananda.
All right, man. We're going to move on, Walter. Thanks.
Thanks, Walter. Anybody else want to raise their hand?
I think the neighbors are getting mad.
Kaiser has his body hand up. And he can unmute himself.
I got a question. I can't raise my hand on the little figure.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Paul, it seems like hearing you that like the self, like you don't like the word ego, which I really like that you don't use that word ego. It's been very helpful. But I've read a lot of like self-help books like decades ago and stuff, and I discovered to kind of like be a friend of myself. And you know, that's something that I still kind of enjoy. And it seems like you come from, and I don't know if you do come from this perspective, so I'm checking it out. Do you, I know that I can't necessarily trust my thoughts, and I have an idea as to who I am, even though that may not be accurate. But I try to be a good friend of myself. I try to be a good friend of
idea
myself.
you have about you is inaccurate. That's for sure.
Should I, it seems I don't want to treat myself as like a foe, but I know I can't trust the ideas that I have of myself or Kaiser. Is it helpful to like befriend yourself, if that even makes any sense? I don't know. That's all I have.
Well, I don't know if I was, you know, cornered if I was cornered by a bear, maybe I'd try to befriend it. You know what I mean? But, no, I don't know. I don't have much interest. I don't see, something that has sort of a parasitical nature isn't in the befriending business. Yeah. It's the old story about the snake, and the lady finds the snake, it's very injured, and she brings it back to health, and then she's walking around with it, and it bites her, and she's surprised because she was so nice to it. Yeah, she was expecting to have different behavior presented to her, and then she looks at him and goes, "Mr. Snake, why did you bite me?" He says, "Hey, I'm a snake." I don't want. Why would one aspect of what I'm not try to befriend another aspect of what I'm not? I'd rather see on neither of them. But I can see the value of it if one was a real motherfucker and now you've got this elevated other, and then you'd like to sort of have a better relationship with this convoluting, confusing ball of mental minutia. But I would hope that, you'd realize there's two sides of this coin. Yeah. Neither of them are the winning side. Yeah. You may think the tail sucks and the head's the winning side, but stay on the heads for a while and you'll see that sucks also. Yeah. I would just rather, discard the currency, so to speak. Yeah. Or just not take it so seriously. See, selfing is going to appear. Selfing is going to objectify itself and think about it and judge it and critique it and be what they would call the superego. Yeah? Yes?
Yes.
With the hopes that all the attention goes on the objectification and it gets a free ride, and you think it's you that's now trying to get free from that objectified self. That's self also. That's selfing. Selfing is duality. Yeah? In a weird way, there seems to be only one self at one point. Yeah? Just subject. Then it's you see it as, and it gets objectified by the lessons in life, or you've heard a message, or you got your ass totally kicked by a life of addiction. And now you see, hey, wait a minute, that which you were assuming to be you see it as, wait, this needs a fucking good trainer. This is a wild fucking aspect that needs to be dealt with. And I'm here to direct that dealing with it. Yes? I know exactly what you need to do. I'm going to keep my eye on this fucking thing. That's it. That's the bondage of self. The bondage of self is two. It's selfing. Self is the imaginary unit that's not there. Yeah? What happens when you're in Hawaii? There's an acknowledgement, I'm having a great time. How long does that last? Before a narration about that, well, it's going to go south. You always blow it, whatever. Yes? Now you assume that's you. Yeah? That's not. You assume this was you at one point. Now, as this, you see that's not you, but seeing that as not you is reinforcing this new one. Yeah? You see it?
Yeah. Yeah. Very subtle, tricky, confusing, but yeah.
Because it confuses us because it's presented as a single, long-lasting, independent thing. The subject-objectness is hiding in the body identification. It's taking it to be one thing when it's a movement of two. Yes? That's all it is. If you catch one, this is when you get disappointed as the other, because you thought, when I see the thief, my house shouldn't get robbed anymore. The policeman is as much a thief as the fucking thief. This is the dilemma. This is the dilemma with spirituality. You feel like you've done enough, yeah? And then you're back home after a 8-month retreat and the shit hits the fan again. Yes, something's ripping you a new one. So then it tells you got to make a year retreat or whatever, or become a monk or do something. I got to do more of it. Yeah, doesn't work, does it? One reinforces the other, the other. The more you have knowledge of this, the more self-knowledge it becomes. And as we say in recovery, self-knowledge avails you nothing. Yeah? You have knowledge of selfing. Self-knowledge doesn't work. Selfing is of two, duality, yes? You're the thought about and you're the thinker. You're the one that's seeing and you're that which is being seen all day. Yeah, it's duality, bro. This is what non-duality is negating. It's negating that fundamental activity. It's nothing, it's not a thing. It's never happened. It's happening. Yeah? And because it's happening without us knowing it, it's producing effects without us knowing it. Yeah? And we're living, let's say, in irritability, restlessness, and discontent. And we don't realize most of the behaviors that are being moved from here is being moved from that. Yeah? I'm driven like a fucking herd animal. Oh, I've been freed from the ego. Who the fuck got freed from the ego? That's selfing. The selfing is the implying of someone or something. Yeah? So there's a loss of ego. Oh, fantastic. But no, it doesn't stay that way. I'm the loser of the ego. This is what happens, yeah? This is what always gets me with the ego. Some people say I've lost an ego. Some people say I have an ego. Who is that person that loses and has? That's the self. That's selfing. That's what I'm interested in, because the activity is what's shaking up all the things we think are so real and solid. It's like a sand underneath everything. Everything. Yeah? Watch, look at where I live. I live in a very rich area in Northern California. Let's say you go to San Francisco airport. Let's say a lot of those people are there. Everything's cool. Everyone's very nice and joyous, saying hello. Oh, take my seat. Suddenly, some of the planes get canceled. Then you watch what happens with people. Then they're fucking keeping. Hey, who got it? Hey, don't get in front of me a lot. Yes. Then the conditional okayness is gone. Yeah. There was a great line in the movie Parasite that won the best thing. The poor people are sitting around and they're describing some of the kids are describing their new employers who are rich. And they go, oh, what's her name is so nice. Yeah, because they're rich. We're poor. We can't afford to be nice. Yeah. This is what happens. You are not a long-lasting, solid thing. Your conditions, circumstances, your impressions, expressions, yeah? What we have is an ability to observe this shit, yeah? And the mental state jumps on that and turns it into a whole freaking story, yeah? And you and I, instead of feeling alive, have a story of a life, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw it once. It was so cool. I was in a place called Pagan in Burma in like 1985. It's really a wonder of the world. There was a civilization there for 300 years on this giant plain, and they built 5,000 Buddhist temples. That's all they did for their society. 5,000 of them. They had one Hindu temple because they kidnapped a king from another regime, and he was a Hindu, so they built a temple for him, and he worked on doing all these Buddhist temples. 5,000, it's incredible. Just dirt, no streets. Suddenly, and that we ride our bicycles, and we'd go to like a stupa, yeah, you sit on, watching the sunset, and you can see all the spires on this huge field. It's awesome. And then one day this big dust bowl starts happening, and you can see this thing coming closer to us, and it's a huge bus of tourists, and they pull up to the temple. They all get out, they walk in front of the temple, the bus driver takes a picture of them, they get back in. They didn't even go into the temple. They didn't even look at the temple. They looked at the guy taking the picture. They got in, and they probably went home and said, oh, I was at this incredible temple. Were they really? They had proof. Look, pictures. Oh, us, it's memories. Yeah, I'm proving to myself, oh, I had a good weekend. Why? When I used to be young, we'd go out, fucking pissing our pants, fucking get arrested, shit like that, beat up. I go to school on Monday. We had a great time fucking this weekend. No, I did. It sucked. Yeah. This delusionary thing. We're just trying to get to the bottom of it. Because there is no bottom, there's no flaw. It's all imaginary. There is not two. Yeah. There's not a Kaiser that does shit and a Kaiser that thinks about shit and a Kaiser who thinks about the Kaiser that did this shit. There isn't. There's just thinking. Thinking, and then Kaiser is just pasted up, like copy and pasted. Yeah? Changes everything. Kaiser here, Kaiser there, good Kaiser, bad Kaiser, awake Kaiser, asleep Kaiser. Yeah? Kaiser. Yeah? And you don't realize how much meaning is being given to the life from Kaiser. Yeah? It's like a dead fucking procedure. It's like a script. Yeah. It was simple. Could you imagine, let's say being awake would be feeling a pulse, yeah? Here's your fingers here. They're not feeling shit. Then you hear a message, and it just gives you a possibility. Wait a minute. And now you feel it, yeah? You can feel the pulse. And then this goes, I'm the feeler of the pulse, yeah? And then you catch it a few times, and you feel there's no pulse here. There's just Paul, yeah? And then suddenly you'll lose sufficient enough interest in Paul, and then you're on the pulse, yeah? Or let's say that your basis is like a bass note. It's just playing all the time, like underlying, never abbreviated, never stopped, never paused, just always going on, yeah? Never interrupted by a lost life or a new life, just, yeah? Let a little of the attention land there. Yes, it goes a long way. And you won't lose interest in life. You may in certain topics. You'll lose interest in Kaiser, that copy and paste. Yeah?
Thanks a lot, Paul.
Yeah. And some days you'll be living, you won't need a memory because you are here completely. I don't need a picture that I was here. Yeah? I have the complete, authentic evidence. I'm awake. Yeah. And you guys are doing a great job. No Zoom bombs.
So far. We got another question from Julie Burrell. Mike, you want to take it away?
No, Julie can, though. Can you ask them to unmute too, Kaiser?
Okay, I got it. Thank you. Okay, where's Paul? Sorry, Paul, I can't find you. Hold on a second. Oh, here you are.
That's good.
Okay, so I'm going to throw these things out. Something that came to my attention
No,
today.
we're not going to go into a whole thing, honey. Let's present what you want to think and then look at what's before that. Where is the copy and paste? Yeah?
Okay. So I wanted to thank you about the dream, because that made, sometimes what I feel for me is making it simple. Like, okay, waking up from that dream, waking up from that identity. So you're not unbecoming, you're not becoming. So that seems simple for me.
No, let me jump in there. It's not waking up from the identity.
Waking up to the identity.
You're already that. You're waking up to the imagined identity. You're not waking up from the identity. There's been no identity.
Nope, got that. So that's what I got from what you said today. That's what I was trying to say. The other thing that came to me was this feeling of the freedom to just be, right? So that came to my attention this week. It's this, instead of trying to figure things out or to do things and consider their things are separate, there's no separate. There's just this one thing going on where everything's an impression in my mind. And I'm thinking it's separate.
Let me
And
step in there again, Julie. Yeah, it's just seeing you're not the person that's making it difficult or easy. That's it.
right. So
It's
that was
not
the other
about-
thing.
And it's not a strategy by the seeming person to see that there is no person. It's before
Right.
that. Yeah.
Right. So the other thing that came up was this. So my biggest thing is to let go. Really, it seems to me I'm the person that runs around the pool but never gets in and swim. Do you see what I mean? And this has been where you talked about wonder and awe in your life. I don't feel like I've had that. It was just it was always controlled. Do you see what I mean? So the other thing that came to me that I felt was helpful was in the 10,000 Things book, it was this message of we consider ourselves a me, but it's just a word, but that's a consistent thing that we use and it never changes. It's always a me, it's always a me. So it's a stream of consciousness that keeps happening, right? But
Yeah, honey,
even the thought,
this isn't,
okay.
honey, if you come to the talk, so I'm gonna take that as a permission to say something. You're looking at the wrong end of the tunnel, so to speak. Yeah.
Okay.
You're not going to find yourself after this stuff. You're going to see there is no self before it. That's
Right.
what we're sharing here. Yeah.
Isn't that what I was?
And then as an action figure, maybe you'll jump in the pool. This stuff can happen. That's a whole different venue, a whole different idea. And the idea of this is not an idea of another methodology of letting go. It's questioning, was there anyone holding on? That's all we're doing. We're going this way. And it's not even a step this way. This way is years and years of having to undo or redo or change a path. There's been no one on a path. Yeah. To me, it's the easier, softer, no way. Yeah.
Right. So that's what I thought I was saying to you, because there is only the stream of consciousness. There is no.
Yes, but do you know what that actually feels like? There is only a stream of consciousness.
No, but
Or
it
do
helped
you
me
see
to understand.
Or do you see the stream of consciousness as myriad stops and goes and pauses and things and degrees and sizes? Yes, that's how we see the stream of consciousness. There is a stream of consciousness, yes, but that's not something you perceive. Yeah. Your perception is that there's big things, small things, things starting, things stopping, shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So one realm, when one realm, that perceptual realm of seeing this and that speaks as if there's all there a stream of consciousness, that's what I don't like. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That statement isn't going to do any good in the perceptual of big and small and this and that, which is the stream of consciousness. Yeah?
Right.
Yeah?
I say so. Uh-huh.
Yes. So Julie,
So
let's say, in this, believes if it gets there's only a stream of consciousness, it's going to help. That's all in this big, small perceptual world. That's why I'm not interested in it. Just see you're not that. That's all, honey. No other understanding's necessary. In a way, when you start recognizing you're not that which is constantly being copy and pasted before all these observations and reflections and affirmations and statements, you'll see that all that you hope understanding of this will come from not being this,
Yeah.
losing interest in this. Then a lot of stuff is revealed. Yeah.
Right.
That big space. See, what the copy and paste does is you're copy and pasting, like they used to talk about in recovery. There's a hole that you've been trying to fill in you. That hole is an aperture. It's a portal. Yeah. You keep copy and pasting the portal, and then have all this that comes after. That's what I'm interested in.
Okay.
Let's see what comes through when the copy and paste isn't fucking pasted and copied, or you see through it. Let's say, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just felt that it was a softening, because when I speak, there's a lot of return feedback saying you're still in story, which I get, right? And then
You're not in story, honey. There's a story that has
I know,
you. You're not in story.
I know. Okay, so what I did feel though was that what I felt was easier was to realize that the my thinker, the my thoughts, I'm thinking. So what I sort of seem to help myself with is there's only seeing, there's only thinking, there's only feeling. So in my mind, I'm just looking for, when I'm on my own and I have no books, no videos, and no things to ask, these are things that I'm looking to help myself. That's all.
See, honey, but the beautiful thing is when you say there's just seeing, hearing, thinking, there's a sense feltness to it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not just something you've heard, but you've observed. Yeah. So it has some meat in a way. That to me is, that goes a lot longer than adding more understanding. Just the simple understanding of one sentence delivered by Huang Po. Oh, it's unbelievable. Whatever can be perceived cannot be perceiving. That can, you can put a lot of meaning in that. That's an incredible fucking treasure chest of, because you hear it and then you observe it. You see, and then you also observe the narrative. Its whole premise is based on the exact opposite of what Huang Po said. And then things come into question. This is what a message does. A message isn't something that you repeat like rote, yeah? A message is a living probe that probes and triggers things, yes?
Right.
That's the point of the talks, is to trigger not just a statement, but an observation of the truth of that statement in your own, I hate to say experience, in your own travelings or in the travelings that you've observed. Yes, that shoe fucking fits. Yeah. That to me is it. It is. And the idea, see, this is what happens with people. People will point out that you're in a story, and therefore then there's a drive to get out of the story, which is the bigger fucking story. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's like a weird trip, yeah, which I have a bad taste in my mouth around. So I don't want it to go on, at least in this little platform that I can sort of be the ringleader of, I don't. I want to keep it where instead of looking this way, we just look back and see if there's anyone there. Because I'm telling you, all the meaning to that which comes after is coming from which is before. It is. I swear to God. Or let's say the attractiveness of the meaning. The meaning is going to be projected, but if you've lost interest in it, you travel lighter through it. Yes.
Right.
And the loss of interest comes from seeing you're not Kaiser, seeing you're not Paul, seeing you're not Julie. You're not the Julie that walks around the pool and doesn't jump in. Nor are you the Julie that jumps in the pool. You're neither. That's the beauty of it. So that you'll be okay if you don't jump in, and you'll be okay if you jump in. Yeah? Okay. You're inherently okay without doing it or not doing it. That's the joy of it all. Yeah?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I can hear it when I hear other people. So anyway, thank you, because
Yeah.
I think
Good. Good.
um uh
No, we're leaving there. We're going to another.
no, I
That's.
was just going to say thank you, because even though I bring to you this stuff, I'm grateful for the response.
I'm happy you do, honey, because
Okay.
you're what you are is what we are. It's so beautiful, and we're communicating to that. Yeah, and we can use jujitsu to sort of pin Julie so that it gets through,
Yeah.
and then Julie, it will resound, and you know, Julie will observe maybe months later or a week later or an hour later that something's happening behind the scenes, which is very good, man. Because what Julie is really naming an observational effect. You're not a cause of anything. You're not, yes. There's just, yeah.
The story I had growing up was just a lot of how wrong I was.
Yes, sure.
And it's been a continual thing that we know more than you shouldn't trust yourself, you don't. So then the reflection was always that they didn't trust you, or they said you didn't know what you were talking about. So
But
then
remember, Julie, there's maybe
yeah,
help for that kind of stuff. Non-duality may not prove very helpful to that if directly applied. As a byproduct of entertaining non-duality, definitely, but as trying to apply it as a BALM may not work well. I'm just
right,
saying, you may be shopping at the wrong store. So, I mean, sometimes you shop and you got to go to 5 stores, yeah? So
right,
let's say I'm having trouble with my lungs. Maybe I'm going to go to a breathing seminar on Zoom. Yes, learn some
right,
pranayama. And then I'll go, let's say, to non-duality. But I won't be going to non-duality looking for breathing techniques, nor will I bring non-duality into the breathing techniques probably. Yes?
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So
Julie has there's a lot of skillful means to lessen the pressure of Julie as Julie. There are. And then the
yeah,
underlying message of non-duality can change the whole complexion without you seeing any specificity. I don't know what the word is. You won't see the specificness of the application. It'll be more like yeah, it's not like I take this for psoriasis. I just take this, and then you'll see what happens. Yeah,
okay,
yeah. So yeah,
yeah,
it's not a denial of neither of them. I mean, if I was feeling really fucked today, I would do something to alleviate that. Yeah, like jump in the
so
water.
what do you so the main thing is to realize that anything that happened in the past is now no longer viable. Instead of shopping
How do you
around
know
and
it
going,
could happen in the past? That's a fucking story. It happened now. It's happening now, and the impact is because it's presented as it happened in the past.
right,
But it's happening
so
now. Yeah.
so you just let it go, basically.
No, I don't know. I just see I'm not that which wants to hold on to it or let it go. I
Okay,
care
okay,
less.
thank you.
I
All right,
know you can outweigh anything. You are you can. I mean, I found when you don't know what to do, don't do anything. It's a pretty good move.
right,
Yeah, yeah. All right. Thanks,
all
honey.
right, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Julie. Anybody else want to raise their hand? I had a second of feeling like we were all Zoom bummers. John K has his hand up.
Yeah, we'll end in a few minutes, eh? Yeah.
Okay, I just have,
And I'm asking,
this is John. Thanks, Paul. I just love seeing you, been listening to you for years and years. My question, or I have something about hitting bottom that you talk about, like how do you know a failed system, what do you learn from the failed system that it failed? And it's like sometimes it seems like you hit bottom, or you like see like this is crazy, or this is not working, and it's a good, easy, calm sense. It's not like sometimes you get no one ripped out too. But what I'm trying to say is, but you can't like do that. You can't like set out to do that. You can't set out to hit bottom. Like what? But I wish I could. I wish. I don't know. Like what? Is it just a mystery? Like you lose interest, and the interest is gone.
It's not really a mystery. It's a mystery to a failed system. Just like the thought system, when things are really working, it thinks it's paradoxical because it doesn't have the breadth and the width to understand. Yeah, it's a very myopic system. And so if you're relying on it, your aperture is determined by it, basically. Yeah. So a lot of stuff, because the relief is going to be coming from the system, not as the system. So it always is sort of a surprise, so to speak. Yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's not coming from the system, it's coming from outside. And the system, being a jealous God, really doesn't pay much attention to any fucking thing. Yeah? Yeah. So
Okay. Thanks. Yeah. No, that's helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then but see, grace inserts itself into the bubble occasionally. That doesn't mean the bubble isn't surrounded by grace. It's surrounded. Yeah. Sometimes the hole gets punched and it never gets pasted over. Yeah, you do. You see through the system. You see through it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you have, like in AA, we say, you'll grow to rely on the intuitive thought and shit like that, because the system isn't hermetically sealed. It just tells you it's hermetically sealed by you being a long-lasting, independent, separate entity. Yeah. And everything that's happening here is private. No one thinks like you. No one. Yes, it's all baloney. It's wide open. It's just it's like a mental gelatinous little imagination. But then we act as if we are confined. Yeah, we do. We do the dance. It just suggests it. The mental state just suggests shit, and then we fulfill it. Yeah, it just suggests shit with false evidence, and then the shit starts appearing real to us, and that's our role in it. The false evidence, if it could appear to be true, it would. It can't. It has to appear to be true to what's true, which is us. Yeah, it does. False evidence is false evidence, no matter if it appears real or not. Yeah. The point is, when it appears real, it can produce effects. Yeah. That may leave certain scars in time.
Yeah.
And so it behooves us maybe to have a recognition that false evidence is false evidence.
Yeah.
Before it appears real, obviously. So, I mean, and after a while, when you recognize the system, you know the products of the system. So you start recognizing, you don't have to turn it over and see made in Paul. You figure it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. You know what I mean? So throw that in the false evidence bin. Hey, you didn't even look at it. I know. Just in a false evidence bin. Because yeah. And this, you get used to it. You do. You grow into stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you become you don't need, let's say, 10 examples, 20 examples, you'll see the whole pie. You don't need, you don't have to, this whole idea of vigilant should have a very short life. Because when you're vigilant of a repetitive mechanism, you don't need to be vigilant for long. You'll see it. You'll see it only has 4 or 5 fucking moves. Yeah, it doesn't have 8 zillion moves. It doesn't. So it just becomes redundant. The vigilance becomes unnecessary.
Yeah.
I feel, humbly. So you see it, you see from whence it comes, and there's
Okay. Yeah.
for it to extend and to have life and to produce effects, it has to garner our interest and attention. We're the rocket, we're the booster,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
fuel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you lose interest in it, false evidence just peters out. It's just like I remember when I got sober, I realized that charm was being misused in my life when I was out there
I know
using.
what you mean.
So I went to a bar and guess I wanted to go back to my old haunts and see if I liked them when I wasn't drunk or using, and I didn't. But I go there and I'm sitting next to this woman at this bar and I'm trying to be charming and the words come out and they all start falling on the ground. I picked them up like loose change and I left. I said, I just don't have it in me anymore. It's all bullshit. Yeah, this is what happens. You don't need, I got to watch out for that. A few examples convince you of the whole curriculum. I don't believe it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like it's 1 and then 8,000. It doesn't have to go linear. More. Non-duality isn't like a retreat. You go to the retreat, usually you really liked how you felt, but it didn't last. So your assumption is if I did a longer retreat, it would work more. That's true for that shit. Yeah. But there's no lasting change in the basic dynamics because you're just moving the ship, like the seats on the Titanic. It's not, you know what I mean? Non-duality changes the basis. When you see through duality, it changes the whole basis, the fabric of your existence. It does. The fabric isn't a solid wall-like material. You see through it. And you recognize you're not of thingness. You don't understand it, you recognize it. You're not of thingness. It's an absurd idea to believe you weren't, then you were, and you won't be. You know what I mean? It's just like, who came up with that? It's crazy. It is. It really is. If you just sat down, it's insane. Just look at how much the mental state obviously can only happen now. Yeah. But what is it? Its stages are based on past and future. So all of its antics are based on what's happening.
Yeah.
They can't leave the theater, but they distract. Past, future, this did happen, and I'm afraid it's gonna happen again. You, the little coming and going character, become the long-lasting thread. I was in the past, I'm moving through now, and I'm definitely going to be in the future. It's all made up. It is. If you look at it for 5 minutes, it's like it has all the girders or foundations are just assumptions, and we're just fucking taking it to be so. That's how powerful we are. We can think we're living on top of a huge construction. It's nothing. There's nothing there. There's this thing of first there is the mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is the mountain. So we've attempted to edit that, because this is what happens. Oh, you're stuck. Oh, this is the mountain. I like it not to be here. So then there's appearance of there is no mountain, far out. But then the mountain appears again. Oh shit, yeah. So, but what happens if you put there is no mountain first? So there is no mountain, then there's the mountain, then there is no mountain, then there's the mountain. You'll travel a lot lighter through the appearing and disappearing of the mountains, starting from the point there is no mountain.
Yeah.
That's the message in a way. Yeah. Why spend so much time trying to get out of what you're not in? That's not meaning you stop trying to get out. You see you're not that which is trying to get out. Yeah? You watch it now and it becomes a comedy routine. It's constantly trying to get out of shit that it believes it's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
So, what the hell? Do you want to go in there and try to? Why fuck it? Why fuck with the mechanics? Just see it's not you. Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. Yes. Yes.
You're
Thank you.
welcome, John. I think we're going to end on that lovely note.
Okay.
I may have an almond butter cheesecake in the future. Directed at one square. Amelia Dinado. You can see it. I already had one. All right. Well, let's say goodbye to everybody. Is that all right, everyone? All well? Good. Let me get to the beginning.
Nodding.
Let me see, say hello to everyone. All right. So we have Mike and Kaiser. You did a great job so far. I heard no explosions go off. We got Dora Monk. I don't see him anymore. Kaiser, Judith, as always. Once we get settled, Judith, you're going to have some visitors to Hawaii. Once all this shit, whatever. Chris, nice to see you, Chris. We got CL Everett. CL, see you. Jeremy. We got Tarak. Nice to see you, Tarak. We got Susan. I'm happy you got to see us, Susan. You're always going to be let in anytime. John Walker. Nice to see you, John. We got another Walter. Walter, yeah. Nice to see you, Walter. Stay with us. Yariv, pleasure. We got Robert. Robert, I got in the water today. There's a beach right over here. Aha. It's very nice. Nice little waves.
Yeah,
We
I've,
got-
I've surfed at Port Wainimi.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I am. Yeah. How have you been there? Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
mellow.
Yeah, next by Oxnard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm lucky to be here. The people don't know I'm here. I got to leave on Monday. All right.
Okay.
We got
Thanks.
Hank. We got Hank. We got Z. Nice to see you, Z. We got Matthew. Hey, Matthew. I haven't seen you in a while. Nice to see you again. Yeah. Don't be standing under there when all those books come tumbling down behind you. Roman, thank you for all your support. I appreciate it. We'll be coming to Germany sooner or later also. Natalie, always a pleasure. We got Richard, my main man. Richard spoke out the other week, protecting the big dog. Appreciate it. We got Fritz. Fritz, I'm in the LA area.
Cool. Yeah.
Keith, nice to see you, Keith. Oh, there's my landlady, Julia. We got Kyle. Nice to see you, Kyle. I'm going to call you when I get off of here. Hank from Amsterdam. Nice to see you, Hank. Yes. We got Jill Kerr. Kerry. Nice to see you, Kerry. Chris with Olympia, Washington. He left. He left the wall. He's gone out of the room. We got Julie. Nice to see you, Julie. Stick with us. You're in good hands here. Drew. We got Michael. Nice